presentation.
We are Baltimore. We are St. Louis.
This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball. Just about 4 hours ago, the high fives, the handshakes, Cardinals picked up a Game 1 win in the doubleheader. Baseball presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. We're at Busch Stadium in St. Louis on a hot night for baseball. It's game number 3 of this 4-game series. It's the Padres and Cardinals on Fox Sports Midwest. And along with Jim Hayes and the Mad Hungarian Al Raboski, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Here we go again, game number 2 of the doubleheader, right back at it. The Cardinals are hitting home runs. They've been doing that since the opening day of this season, and it's a part of our Kubota Power Stats out with the Cardinals with the long ball, what they've done against the Padres in this series.
Yeah, if you really look and go back to the last 10 games, they've hit 21 total home runs. Everybody's been a part of this, but nobody more than Jed Jerko, who has hit a home run in 4 consecutive games against his old team.
So Jerko with a couple, Randall Grichuk, who's been at the top of the lineup, Steven Piscotty, Matt Holliday, even Yadier Molina getting in the act here this afternoon with that long home run into the Padres bullpen. Well, it's Jaime Garcia here tonight. It was 8 years ago to the date that he made his Major League debut. More on that in a moment. But it's Garcia and the Cardinals looking for a doubleheader sweep tonight. Game number 3 comes your way tonight on Fox Sports Midwest. He'll go against Paul Clemens tonight. Clemens 1-0. Jaime is 6-6 this year. The Kia in the driver's seat. Remarkable, isn't it? 8 years ago to the date, Jaime Garcia made his major league debut, and ironically enough, it was against the San Diego Padres. He went 5 innings in that game, gave up 5 hits, 3 earned. Also picked up his first career major league hit. The Cardinals won that game thanks to a walk-off grand slam by Aaron Miles. Well, the starters have done their job so far. Will that continue here in game number 3? It's been Leake, it was Martinez, and tonight it's Jaime Garcia. First pitch starting lineups coming up on Fox Sports Midwest. For John Jay. Hug from Yadier Molina and introduced to the crowd here in St. Louis and recognized. Nice round of applause for John Jay back in St. Louis for the first time. St. Louis Cardinals baseball is brought to you by Bud Light Lime. By Chevrolet. Visit your local Mid-America Chevy dealer for great prices on the all-new 2016 Malibu. And by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. Talking with John Jay yesterday, he'll have his cast removed in about a week. He had told the media 2 days ago he thought it'd be 2 weeks. He was checked out yesterday. He was here at the ballpark. It'll be about a week and then back into baseball activities. 89 degrees along with Al Raboski and Jim Hayes. I'm Dan McLaughlin. Game 2 of this doubleheader, and it's game 3 of the 4-game series.
A lot of
Travis Jankowski will lead it off, followed by Will Myers and then Matt Kemp. Solarte, switch hitting third baseman, bats cleanup. Then Derek Norris, Alex Dickerson, Adam Rosales, Alexi Ramirez at short, and Paul Clemens is on the mound, and he will bat ninth. We've seen that Jankowski out great speed, and he'll be in that leadoff position for San Diego.
Yeah, getting a chance to play a little bit more now that John Jay's on the disabled list. A lot of clubs do not travel their DL players, but they wanted John Jay to come here because of his influence in the clubhouse, on the bench, very positive, and of course we all know that John Jay's a real professional. And you see the numbers for Garcia, 6-6. He's had 2 no decisions last 2 times out. Needs to get back on the winning ways, and if he's getting the ball down, getting his ground balls, he has the best ground ball ratio in the National League.
First inning in game one was a problem for Carlos Martinez, and then he settled in. It was a double to Jankowski, and then Ryan Schiff with a 2-run homer. And then in 7 innings of work, a total of 4 hits allowed, and 3 of the 4 coming in the first inning. Jankowski lines it to right, and it is caught by Piscotty. Initially came in just a bit and goes back and makes the catch.
And Piscotty had a similar ball in the first game where he started to come in and then realized that it may take off. This one he recovers even better and has to sky jump to the apex and come back and haul that one in. And of course the first inning is the most troublesome inning for Garcia. He has a 6 ERA in the first inning, so plays like that will help him out.
Will Myers had struck out, grounded out, was hit by a pitch, and there's a look at Martinez. Boy, he was electric here this afternoon. The 4 hits, only 2 runs coming in the first, walked 1, struck out 5, and battled through a nosebleed and gave the Cardinals exactly what they needed in the first game of this doubleheader.
3 of the 4 hits came in the first, plus the walk. So very few base runners after that. 1 more hit and then a hit batter.
Here's the 0-1 pitch to Myers. 1 ball, 1 strike. Alberto Rosario is your catcher here in game 2 after a hot afternoon for Yadier Molina and his teammates in game 1. We've noticed that Rosario has been a plus defender, brief time behind the plate, but he's a major league catcher defensively. Hazelbaker in left, back in the big leagues. Pham in center. Piscotty is in right. Jerko, Garcia, Wong, and Adams along the infield. And it's Rosario behind the plate. Around the Horn is presented by Dobbs. There's a look at Jeremy Hazelbaker.
Talk about Rosario back behind the plate. Mike Matheny said last couple years when they would be in meetings and talk about Rosario, he would say that he could catch at any level, and was meaning the big leagues as early as a couple years ago.
The 2-2 spoiled by Myers. Well, for whatever reason, Jaime Garcia at this ballpark and made his debut 8 years ago has been special here at Busch Stadium. Had a day game earlier this year against Milwaukee. 1 hit shutout. And the numbers bear out that he is just a better pitcher at home than he has been on the road. Lined into right center and a base hit with 1 out.
His last win against San Diego came back on April the 3rd, 2011. That was right here in St. Louis. It was a 2-0 complete game shutout. There's what we talk about when we always talk about you want to see him pitch when he's home, and preferably during the day.
I was saying the Cardinals may flip-flop Martinez and Garcia because of that. He has been, and I'm, look, you can make a stat for anything, but he's really good in day games for whatever reason here at home. But Cardinals get a very good outing from Carlos Martinez. Take game 1 of the doubleheader. Here's Matt Kemp hitting .255. First pitch taken high.
Just playing devil's advocate, I might say that Mike Matheny was gambling that, excuse me, that Martinez would go deeper into the ball game and save his bullpen for the second one.
Sure, good point. Kemp in his second year here with the San Diego Padres. His former teammate Clayton Kershaw might be done for the year. Word out of Los Angeles is that he needs knee surgery. Had been dealing with a lower back injury, and that's big news. You think about the Dodgers minus Clayton Kershaw.
Now they're trying to put together a pitching staff even with him, so that would be a real big blow to their postseason efforts.
Alex Wood is also out 6 to 8 weeks, and the Dodgers will be in town this weekend.
You know, the Cardinals have handled to Kershaw, particularly in the postseason. I don't think anybody looks forward to facing him, particularly when Carpenter's out of line.
Garcia with that good sinker, looking for the ground ball double play. Monday pitch arsenal for the Cardinals lefty. Fastball, change, the cutter. Don't see the curve very often. He'll mix it in there every once in a while and show it. very good sinker from Jaime Garcia. If the Cardinals pitch like they have, their starters here out of the break, they're going to have a good chance to do some damage here in the second half.
And I think really, if you take it back into month of June, they pitched very well. So you're going to go as far as your pitching will take you. Pleasant surprise, all the runs that they've scored, a lot of them via the home run.
Ground ball outs for Garcia, 194, just 5 back of Mike Leake, his teammate Johnny Cueto. 194 with Garcia. Then Jonathan Neese, who's been moved to the bullpen of Pittsburgh.
Talk about a ground ball staff. The starters for the Cardinals are. Saw that graphic with Mike Leake, but Jaime with 59.7 ground ball percentage is first in the National League. Just behind him is Carlos Martinez at 59.3. And then, Wainwright and Leake and these other guys were right there trying to get ground balls all the time, too.
Mike Leake has been very good his last 2 starts. 2 starts ago, 10 strikeouts, no walks. And then we saw 2 nights ago, 11 strikeouts, no walks. Runner goes, and a high fly ball lifted into right center, racing to it. Piscotty, he's got it. Myers back to first. Talked so much about Stephen Piscotty and what he's done at the plate, the adjustments that he makes. He is a well above average defender in right, and this is a guy that the Cardinals originally drafted as a third baseman.
That's right. Patrick Wisdom was a third baseman. He's still a third baseman. Piscotty moved to right field, and Carson Kelly back behind the plate. They were all 3 drafted out of the 2012 draft, and 2 of them changed positions, and they all have bright futures.
Here's Solarte, the switch hitter. Cardinals, because of a doubleheader, both teams get a chance to add an extra man, and their 26th man on the Cardinals roster tonight is Dean Kiekefer, who showed quite well his first stint with the Cardinals and first ever major league action, a lefty in their pen.
At 362 when he hits from the right side.
There's a look at Dean. So one of 3 Cardinal lefties, along with Kevin Segrist and Tyler Lyons. Out of Louisville, Kentucky, the 27-year-old. Not a big guy, but he showed he could not only get lefties out, but righties, and could give you multiple innings. Good jump, and that's hit down the left field line. It is hooking, and that ball is foul. Myers was off with that pitch, and Solarte gave it a ride but pulled it foul.
Solarte about 3 times as many bats left-handed as he has right-handed. 362 right-handed in the 270s left-handed. 2 of his 9 home runs have come right-handed, and 12 of his 26 home runs.
One ball, 1 strike.
We want to see the ground ball.
Get through this first inning and then settle in. Rosario sets up inside, and good pitch. Nice crowd on hand, still filing in for game 3 of this series. Made the announcement that last night, if you did have a ticket, and I know a lot of folks were at work today, if you had a ticket to the game last night, it is good for 2 future tickets for remainder of this season and also into next year. So if you had 4 tickets, you're looking at 8 coming back to you Monday through Thursday, and that's a good faith gesture by the Cardinals. And it's a strikeout as Rosario was jumping to the baseball over the middle of the plate. Solarte says wow, shaking his head. So the first strikeout for Jaime Garcia. A little help along the way from Stephen Piscotty. And after a half inning, no score here in game 2 of the doubleheader. The Padres and the Cardinals. Paul Clemens finishing up his warm-up tosses. And it's another different looking lineup for the Cardinals here this evening. Aledmys Diaz will have at least the initial part of this game off as Greg Garcia gets the leadoff spot playing shortstop. Then Jed Jerko, red hot. They move him up in the lineup. Why not? Then Stephen Piscotty, Matt Adams, Tommy Pham, Jeremy Hazelbaker, Colton Wong, Alberto Rosario, and the pitcher batting ninth, Jaime Garcia. Right-hander Paul Clemens, 5 games, couple of starts. He's 1-0 this year.
And his 2 starts, he's gone 5 innings in those. You see the 5 home runs he's allowed in just 13 1/3 innings. A ton of walks, 10 and 13 1/3 innings. So be patient.
Here's Greg Garcia. First pitch is a strike. Cardinals fell behind in game 1 and then came back and hit 3 home runs. And the Cardinals start play tonight tied with Washington for the most home runs in the National League. No balls, 2 strikes. Seems like when Greg Garcia plays, for the most part, he produces. 321 the average, couple of home runs, picked up 1 off the bench. He's driven in 10 and has really improved his defense here in 2016.
Yeah, you don't have any questions anymore about playing shortstop, and that's where he's at tonight.
Breaking ball outside.
They say that Clemens probably is going to throw a lot more curveballs than he has in the past, but that pitch has been very inconsistent for him.
Even on the video board, Star Wars night, they've got Greg swinging a lightsaber. I know, Al, that you being the movie buff that you are, you love Star Wars.
Oh yes, I do.
And by the way, the last 3 Star Wars nights,
we won.
I don't know about that, but we've lost a player. Someone's gotten hurt on these nights. I don't want to see that again tonight.
No. Let's hope it's not a broadcaster either.
You never know. You were getting feisty in game 1, so I could be in trouble.
No.
Chabowski.
I just took my happy pill, so you're safe.
Excellent.
I could go for that look.
I think there's a likeness there.
Yeah. We talk the same.
Here's a 1-2. And a call, 3rd strike. Catches the outside corner.
Does it go
Missouri
around
Lottery
the plate?
box tracks.
Way outside and stays outside. In a strike zone like that, it's hard to assume that it would be that consistent, but as a pitcher you try to take advantage of it.
So 1 out and nobody on, and here is Jerko, and they cannot find a way to get him out. The former Padre has tore up the Padres. Return of the Jet guy. I like it. 6 games, 10 for 17, 4 home runs, 7 driven in. Homered earlier today. Breaking ball taken low.
And he's homered in his last 4 games against the Padres. 2 out there in the first 2 games of this series. I think he's trying to make a statement.
He's played all over the infield for the Cardinals this year. All 4 infield spots. He takes a pretty good hack at that pitch. Here's game 1, and this is a no-doubter. He knew it into center field. David Freese territory. One ball and 2 strikes on Jerko. 1 out, nobody on. Outfield is deep, and they are straight away.
He's hit 58 home runs, Jerko, since 2013.
I know a lot of fans, by the way, are curious about those tickets from last night. Many were here today. if you were not able to make it back for the day game of the doubleheader, the club will send a ticket voucher redeemable for those tickets to a future game, either this year or next season. So many of those fans ordered online. They have your email, and they will make sure that you get your tickets.
I'm assuming, too, that even if you made it to the game this afternoon, you'd still get that voucher.
Yes, sir. Cardinals were really stuck as to what to do last night. Do you start play? They knew the rain was coming. Then you get in maybe 5, maybe 6. And then you're stuck here all night. Little bouncer hit foul.
My understanding, there were 2 models they were looking at. One, the rain was supposed to hit about 7:30. And you obviously wouldn't want to start your pitchers warming up and come out and start a game and then lose them for a couple hours. The other model was around 9 o'clock, was the one that happened. And then you're concerned about getting your fans to safety before it really does hit. And you know, the high winds and the lightning, and so they're caught, but I think did a pretty good job.
The 2-2. Jerko spoils the pitch, hits it out of play. Hyundai pitch arsenal, and this is why you saw him working out of the bullpen. He's a 2-pitch pitcher, and most will tell you need at least 2 to be in a rotation.
Well, and the other thing too is you can do it with 2 pitches if you have great pitches.
Dominant.
And I don't think anybody's saying that that's what he has.
Spoiled again by Jerko. That pitch at 96.
I was told that they were probably going to throw more curveballs tonight, but that curveball has been very inconsistent. And we know if you can eliminate the curveball and just sit on the fastball, may be successful for a while, but you're going to get hurt down the road. Down the road, meaning later in this game.
Here's a 2-2. Left it up, and he hammers it out to left.
Here's your hanging curveball.
Well, even the curveball that Garcia was called out on, that was a hanger.
It was a hanger, and it was well outside. But look at that thing. It starts up around his eyes and ends up at the letters. You just can't do that to major league hitters and expect to be successful.
Here is Stephen Piscotty, hitting .299 on the season. Did single in the 5th inning to right field in game 1. Matt Adams at the on deck circle. Fastball taken outside and high for ball 1. Not only did Jerko pick up the base hit, but he made him work. Already now 16 pitches here in the 1st inning for Clemens.
He used 1 reliever, and I'm sure Andy Green is happy for that in the 1st game.
Always interesting to look at the splits, home and road. We did that with Jaime Garcia. What about Stephen Piscotty? Solid both home and road. Our Lowe's home field advantage. Game 1 of this series, he put a ball in Big Mac land, and he hits to all fields. That's something that we've seen from Stephen Piscotty as well. Good plate protection and an understanding of the strike zone, and hits to all fields. Now the 1-1. Popped up. Will Myers is over. It is playable. Makes the catch in foul territory. Out number 2. Around the Horn is presented by Dobbs. Dickerson in left, Jankowski in center, Kemp is in right, Solarte, Ramirez, Rosales, and Myers along the infield, and Norris is behind the plate. Adams is hitting .266, and they've got a shift on for the big man. This is where he can survey that field. We've seen him drop down that bunt and have no problem with it. He may do that here. haven't been seeing the exaggerated shifts against Adams nearly as much when he's had a chance to play.
Now what they're doing in the outfield is they're playing him straight up but bunching him. So there's a lot of room down the left field line, and of course with no infielder, there's the one man playing towards second base. There's a lot of room on the left side, period.
Adams with a double in the 4th inning of game 1, then was driven in on the 2-run homer by Jerko. See Clemens again really fighting it with that curveball.
And it really does almost look like he's telegraphing it too. These guys get a little more familiar with him and see that release point. Jump on the hangers.
I'm sure one of the things Bill Miller has talked about, if he drops down a bunt, Jerko could think about going to third. Maybe all for naught now with 2 strikes. We've seen that before. If you have good speed at first base, this kind of shift, you drop down a bunt, third base line. That runner for first can round second and head to third.
I was thinking earlier in the at bat, if he just hit certain spots down the left field line, you might see Jerko circle the bases.
Here's a 1-2. Hit down the left field line. Dickerson giving chase, out of play. Nice fan gives it to the younger fan. It says, here you go, souvenir time here at the ballpark. 1-2 the count here on Matt Adams. Outfield is deep. Foul ball, just got a piece. We talked about it earlier today, the fact that Adams hasn't had a lot of sustained playing time in terms of day after day after day, and we'll see if that changes with some righties coming up.
Mike trying to continue to play the hot hand, and sometimes you just have to let some of these guys out there and let them settle in.
Here's a 1-2. Adams rips it into right field. Kemp is going back over his head, and that'll be a ground rule double, it looks like. Jerko, though, being waved in. Relay to the plate. No tag yet. Now it's applied.
Let's hope it's a
That's a ground rule double.
I think our first base umpire is saying that, yeah, the ball did hop over the wall and hit the advertising behind the wall. Get a good look at it here. No doubt about it. So that will be a ground rule double, and the inning will stay alive with runners at second and third. That's not reviewable.
They're just showing that now on the video board here at the ballpark, and the fans' reaction. Clearly it is over the wall with one hop and over the head of Matt Kemp. So the right call has been made.
Yes.
So Jerko winds up at third base. It's a double for Adams. Second double of the day. You can see Jerko initially, I think when he was going towards third, he thought ground rule double.
Yeah.
And you could see the speed wasn't quite there as normally it might be. But regardless, it's runners at second and third for the Cardinals, and here is Tommy Pham.
Make it hurt.
First pitch taken for a ball. Tommy hitting .258, 5 home runs. He's driven in 7 this year. Big gap in left center field. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Tommy 0 for 10, 0 for 5 in this series, but you know he's a streaky hitter on the homestand. just under 300 with a couple home runs.
Here's a 1-1. Breaking ball taken down and in. 2 balls and a strike. Well, if he's a 2-pitch pitcher and can't locate the curveball, the Cardinal hitters can sit on the fastball.
That's what I'm saying too. And right there, it looked like he threw one of his better curveballs and didn't get the call. It kind of surprised the umpire.
The 2-1. There's your fastball and a ground ball that's hit to second. Rosales makes the play. So the Cardinals strand 2 following the base hit by Jerko. Ground rule double by Adams. They're left stranded, and there's no score. Coming up this Friday when the Cardinals take on the Dodgers, courtesy of AAA. For tickets and more information, visit cardinals.com/promotions. So the Cardinals strand 2 in the bottom of the first. It's the second inning with Norris, Dickerson, and Rosales for San Diego. No score from Busch Stadium, game 2 of this doubleheader. Derek Norris did not play in game 1. It's Christian Bethancourt. He took a shot off the knee and had a little issue with that. Remember, after he threw out the base stealer for the Cardinals, Aledmys Diaz limped off the field, so looked like one way or another Derek Norris would get the call tonight. And the 0-1 pitch. Norris is a former Oakland A. He could play first base as well. Did more of that a season ago for the Padres.
Not hitting for a high average right at the Mendoza line, but with 12 home runs.
Mendoza line, 200 average.
Mario Mendoza, little slick fielding, no hit shortstop for the Pirates. But the fallacy is he actually, I think he hit over 200, lifetime. But he's always linked with non-hitters. We got they got an interesting hitting coach, Alan Zinter. Remember his name?
I do, actually.
About 18 years in the minor leagues, hit 250 career home runs in the minor leagues, and got a little time. Just hit 3 home runs in the big league level, but I mean, he had something like over 1,700 games in the minor leagues.
I remember him, correct me if I'm wrong, but with the Arizona Diamondbacks. Is that one of his teams?
Yeah, that was at the end. It was Houston in 2002,
Yep.
and then Diamondbacks in 2004. That was
Popped
last.
up on a 3-2. Who wants it? It'll be Jerko. Starters in this series have been very good. Mike Leake, 6 innings, struck out 10. Then today, Martinez with 7 innings and 5 strikeouts. Really a scary moment, too, with that bloody nose that Martinez sustained, and we had a stoppage in play for about 10 minutes. That's our BJC Healthcare difference maker.
And it happened to him one time last year. I don't remember that.
Jim will have more on that in the bottom of the inning. Here's Dickerson, and that swung on and missed for strike 1. David Rackley is calling the balls and strikes. Chris Guccione at first, Alfonso Marquez at second. Chad Whitson is down at third.
What they do is they bring in a minor league umpire. So Larry Vanover, the crew chief for the first game, he sits out this game completely, and then Rackley didn't. He sat out the first game, so you'd have a fresh home plate umpire.
1-1. Garcia got a glove on it. Has time and makes the play. Doesn't it seem like more and more, I mean like the last 3 weeks, whether it's a Cardinal at the plate or the opposition, we're seeing more balls hit up the middle?
Well, as a pitcher, you take a couple like that, and then you learn how to keep it away from big guys, and you keep it for they'll jam them or keep it to where they can't hit the ball up the middle. That's part of learning how to pitch. You know, obviously the guys are bigger, stronger. The bats are so light now, they can whip it through the zone quickly.
Adam Rosales at the plate, and he looks at strike 1. 197 his average, near the Mendoza line. 6 home runs, and he's driven in 19. Time is called. But those are scary situations, those comebackers to the pitchers. We saw Rosales with the Cincinnati Reds, came up in 2008. He's been with Oakland, Texas, and now with San Diego. A little bit low, 2 balls and 1 strike. We used to always talk about Mark McGwire, a third baseman, and you reminded me, Dan, the pitcher isn't too far away from Mark either.
You were talking about how you were feeling for the third baseman, so close to Mark McGwire, and I said, Dan, go look at the pitcher. He's a running target. He's throwing the ball and charging those line drives, coming right at him, and about half the distance of where that third baseman's pointing. I do remember that.
Man. There's a strike. So twice in this inning he's fallen behind 3 balls and a strike. Missouri Lottery Fox Tracks as this pitch catches the bottom of the zone.
Stay down there, you can be okay.
That's where you're going to get your ground balls.
Ground balls. They hit the ball, it's probably going to be a single.
And a walk. Even that pitch there gives you the idea, the great movement that Garcia has. Here's a minor league catcher, but we've talked about it. He is a catcher that defensively could play for a number of years at this level, and he's stabbing at the ball because of the late movement that he has, not the soft catch that you normally see.
It really tells you something. Mike Matheny has confidence to put him back there when Garcia's on the mound. Everybody will tell you he's the toughest for the catchers to catch because of all the late movement.
2 outs, runner at first, and that's tapped foul by Alexi Ramirez. So we talked to Cardinals coaching staff about all the ground balls, and he's got 194 of those and 66 flyouts. So the ratio of 2.9. That's Obviously very, very good. A lot of ground balls from Garcia.
There's an example there. 34-year-old veteran bending back on a pitch that he thinks inside and is caught over the middle of the plate.
One ball, one strike on Ramirez. Number of years and seasons with the Chicago White Sox. And he pulls it to Jerko. Gets up and makes the play. Jed Jerko doing a little bit of everything against his former team. Home runs, extra base hits, and a little defense. Nicely done by Jerko down at the hot corner. Padres strand a runner. No score. Let's check in with Jim.
Yeah, Dan, you guys talked about it. Scary moment in the second inning of the first game when Carlos basically took a knee with blood pouring from his nose. Yadier Molina admitted it was scaring, saying he had no idea what was happening. But Carlos said after the game it was no big deal. He says it's happened several times before when he's exposed to extreme heat. He said the nose started to bleed this morning, then stopped, so he thought he'd be fine. He wasn't. And Dan, as you saw, there was a lot of blood, but Carlos said there was no way he was coming out of the game. All he needed to stop that bleeding: cotton, Vaseline, and a little bit of time.
Here is Jeremy Hazelbaker. Was a scary moment. Play was stopped for about 10 minutes or so, and Jeremy on the first pitch pops it up. Solarte over and makes the catch as he holds on. Nice play, Solarte. We'll go back to Jim here in just a moment. For those of you that missed his interview with John Mozeliak, the Cardinals GM, we'll get you caught up. Very good play here by Solarte to make the catch and the out. Jim, you had the chance to visit with John Mozeliak, and the question now becomes, because of the doubleheader, what happens on Sunday? Do the Cardinals go to a bullpen man to make a start, or is it Martinez?
Well, Martinez only threw 89 pitches, but Mozeliak told me they're not really considering Carlos at this point, mostly based on how hot it's been and how hot it's going to continue to be. He said the options are probably Lyons, possibly Bowman, but they haven't made a final decision yet, Dan.
You also went through a litany of the Cardinals' injuries. Anything stand out there?
Yeah, Matt Carpenter apparently is ahead of schedule, at least according to John Mozeliak. John told me that he spoke to Matt between games and was very impressed, saying we've seen him throw and catch, but apparently he's already swinging off a tee. And he said at this point with Matt Carpenter, they're at a point where he can, quote, push, but push cautiously. And that seems to be ahead of where he was just a couple of days ago, Dan, so that's encouraging.
And then how about Jordan Walden? Now that's a name that we haven't heard much from, and he could give this bullpen a needed push as Wong hits a fly ball into left center. Be the left fielder Dickerson making the catch. But what about Jordan Walden?
Yeah, Walden has been trying to come back from shoulder issues. John Mozeliak told me that Jordan had been rehabbing on his own in Dallas. He'd been long tossing and making progress. He was supposed to be coming to St. Louis to show the coaching staff how far along he is and what progress he's made. But apparently Jordan wanted to push it back until he's okay throwing off a mound. Dan, he apparently didn't think he was far enough along to show off his stuff to the coaching staff yet.
All right, that's unfortunate. Here's Rosario. Thank you, Jim. 2 outs and nobody on, and Rosario hits a ground ball to short, taken there by Alexei. And that's the 3rd out. Had to get it in, Al. Sorry.
I got to
deal with it. We head to the 3rd. San Diego and St. Louis, and there's no score. Major League Baseball presented by T-Mobile. Anthony Rizzo, couple of home runs, now up to 24. Chicago wins today. The Reds win today behind their big righty, 6-3 over Atlanta, and the Indians an 11-4 win. They hit 5 home runs against Kansas City. Don't look now, the Royals are now 9 games back in the American League Central Division. That's the furthest they've been back since late in the 2013 season.
So difficult to repeat. They were very fortunate to win 2 pennants in a row, and then last year their world championship. But you know, you start taking things for granted, think it's all going to turn around. I think the Cardinals maybe experiencing a little of that too.
Well, going forward for the Royals too, if they do indeed have a limited payroll, that window is closing. Many of those core players are coming up for free agency. Here's Clemens, first pitch, backhanded by Garcia, and he makes the play.
Very nice by Greg. Sure, he's got family and friends that are watching the home telecast for the Padres. But Dan, I think we were led to believe a year ago he couldn't make these type of plays. But this year is a lot more comfortable, and we've very consistently, we even talked about a little bit earlier in this game, that we don't worry about these kind of plays with him anymore.
When Diaz took the foul ball to the eye, Garcia had a longer look, a longer stand at shortstop. He showed he could play it defensively. And then we had a series way earlier this year in Washington in which he had to play third base, and he did a great job there.
I remember that series where he was something like 6 for 10. He was only coming up for the, it was the paternity leave, right, for Carpenter, and he played so well that Tejada became expendable.
A strike to Travis Jankowski. Lined out to right. He's 0 for 1. This young man can fly. We saw that in game 1 of the doubleheader. For those of you that missed it, he can really run. Showing bunt, 0-2.
Yeah, I don't remember last year in San Diego, he got called up for the first time, and we saw why. He was an exciting player because of that speed. Now with 0-2 count, Jerko moves back onto the dirt at third base. He's playing in guarding against the bunt. A lot of times, you know, you think you can drop it down a bunt. The opposition is not paying attention. So as a pitcher, a lot of times I would get on the mound and I'd like show the bat to my third baseman, my first baseman, like, hey, beware of the bunt. He may be coming in, and hope to take that out of his thought process.
Here's a 1-2 pitch to Jankowski.
Brett Butler. Remember Brett?
Oh, yeah.
The leadoff hitter for the Cardinals, then later on was with Dodgers, you know, Cleveland and others. But he told me that he used to always like, he was a great bunter, but he liked to watch the at bat by the third baseman, you know, right before he comes to bat. If he had a bad at bat, he thought he would take it to the field, and that's most of the time when he dropped down the bunt.
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
We talk about it all the time, how a player will take an at bat to the field.
Not supposed to.
About it.
Not supposed to, but it happens frequently, doesn't it?
Sure does. Human nature. Missouri Lottery Fox Tracks a little high. And the count with 1 out, nobody on is 3-2 on Travis Jankowski. Held on to by Rosario. Strikeout number 2. There's Colleen Lotz, our pregame producer, there on the left. And she is due in about a month, I believe, with their second child. She does a great job for us.
Drinking water.
Indeed. Here's Will Myers, who singled to right center field. Many around baseball expect the Padres to be one of the busiest teams in the next week or so, with the trade deadline looming. Melvin Upton Jr., some of the bullpen characters that they have could help a team they believe.
They've already made some deals to try and stockpile their minor league system.
We're currently 41-53. 16 games out in the National League West.
2 off seasons ago, they tried to get a bunch of veterans, try to win it. And then it didn't work last year, and now they're paying the price because they have to restock and rebuild their farm system.
They've already traded away Rodney. James Shields went to the White Sox. Here's a 1-1 pitch.
You see who they got in return? One of the 2 players, Fernando Tatis Jr.
Oh, I did see that.
I think he's like a 16, 17-year-old shortstop.
2 grand slams in 1 inning off the same pitcher for Fernando Tatis. Certainly one of the most historic moments in recent Cardinals history.
Doing that game with me?
No, I was not.
Okay.
It was at Dodger Stadium, though.
Dodger Stadium, Jan Ho Park. And I mean, think about it. You got to be a pretty good pitcher to be in position to give up the 2 grand slams in 1 inning.
Where a manager stays with you.
Yeah, I mean, it was like 2 outs for 10 batters, it seemed like. Tommy Lasorda kept on thinking, okay, he's going to get the next guy. And mathematically, if that inning would have continued, you could see that he could have possibly come up a 3rd time with the bases loaded.
It's incredible. Mark McGwire was a part of that team. He's at the ballpark tonight, serving as the bench coach for Andy Green. 2 balls, 2 strikes as we get a view from behind home plate. Garcia finally set, goes with the breaking ball, and it's fouled back.
This is the 6th all-time at Busch Stadium day-night doubleheader. Redbirds are 2-0-3. It's tough to win a doubleheader. It's easy to lose it. And the Cardinals have, they've won 2 and they've split 3.
Makes for a long day at the yard. Change up in the dirt. Let's turn to Al's Toyota keys to the game.
Well, it's real simple. You win the first game, so let's finish the night. Finish the night, meaning we got to win this game right here. The Cardinals 5 games over 500. If they win this game here, they'd be 5 games under 500 on the road. You can start seeing some daylight. And until they can start playing better at home and consistently win, you really can't worry about whether they're in a pennant race or anything else. And I still believe that even where they are and how good the Cubs are playing, and they won again today, Cardinals start this game 7.5 games back. You still got to look and shoot for the Central Division.
It's what you shoot for, and then you take the realistic view and say when you have series with Miami and the Dodgers, you have to win those. Lined into right field. And the Cardinals have plenty of games remaining inside their own division. And who knows with the trade deadline what Milwaukee and what Cincinnati, what those teams will look like with different players on their roster. And many probably shouldn't be at this level, but you give them that long look. If you're out of contention, you make the deals, bring up some young players.
Now this is the first time in a while that the Cubs have dominated in the Central Division. But they've had trouble in the division in the past, just like the Pirates. They're 1 game under 500 playing in the Central Division, and you just have to beat up on Cincinnati, on Milwaukee. And that's the only way the Cardinals are going to really get back in this thing, is to dominate against them and then play much better against the clubs that are winning.
Here's Matt Kemp, fly to right. As Jim reported earlier in the day, the boot is off the foot and ankle of Brandon Moss, so you're going to get him fairly soon. Carpenter's starting to at least swing the bat a little bit. That should bolster this lineup and bench even more. 0-1. That is the beauty, though, of the wild card. You can have a team like the Cardinals, and from their own expectations, they are underachieving.
Yes.
But the wild card keeps you interested as a fan.
I think it's been a great addition. When they had the single wild card, you weren't penalized enough. So they rectified that with having the double wild card, where you have to play that 1 game playoff just to advance. And I think that evens it out and makes it a lot tougher for a wild card to run the table.
0-2 pitch inside to Kemp. Seems like every year you look up, Matt Kemp will be around 25-30 home runs, and he'll drive in 100.
Got 19 home runs this year, and he's way ahead of his pace of a year ago when he was right there in, like, I think it was 23 home runs and 100 RBIs.
Growing up in Oklahoma, he wanted to play the sport of basketball, was a terrific player, but his athleticism in that sport took him to baseball. There's a pickoff, and Adams can't get it out of the glove. That's what they'll teach you. If you're picked off, just take off.
Oh, yes. And a lot of base runners make that mistake trying to get into rundown, and they allow the defense. But here Matt comes out, and he's trying to be aggressive and really, tried to be in position to throw the ball to second before he really caught it. So here you see, it's not that bad a throw, a little bit low, but then when he tried to get in position to throw it, he lost the ball.
And a swing and a miss, and Garcia strikes out Kemp. 2 strikeouts in the inning, 3 tonight for Jaime Garcia. Padres strand a runner. They have left 3 on, and there's no score from Busch Stadium. Our crew from Fox Sports Midwest is at the ballpark tonight over at BPV, Ballpark Village. And they're talking with fans about how you stream Fox Sports Go. Very easy to do. Al has done it, I've done it, and you should as well. Just download the app for free or visit foxsportsgo.com for more information.
And I won't tell everybody that I taught you how to do it. Nothing ball game here, but Jaime with that last strikeout, it was 3 on the night. And 665th, that ties Ray Sadecki for 7th on the Cardinals all-time left-handers list for strikeouts. Sadecki, what a great guy he was. Real character, outstanding pitcher. Played with him in the 70s. His last year with the Cardinals was 75. I think his first year was 1960. He moved here a couple times.
0-2 on Garcia. My understanding too is the folks over at Ballpark Village, they're handing out hats and shirts. The Garbage Time with Kate Nolan show, and they're talking about some of the latest hot takes from Speak for Yourself.
We talk all the time about our pre and post game are over at Ballpark Village. We can talk about it and look at the crowd. But,
oh yeah.
But do our pre and post games over there. But also, they have giveaways when the team's on the road at Ballpark Village.
You know why that's picked up there? That's a live look inside Ballpark Village as Garcia sends this out to deep left. This ball is caught on the run by Dickerson. Our voices, Al, are piped into Ballpark Village. So if you're over at Ballpark Village right now, go get yourself a free T-shirt. Do it right now and say you'd like to visit with the folks from Fox Sports Midwest and you've got some hot takes.
Outstanding play there by Dickerson. They really like this young man.
That's it. Go right over there. They've got all the hats and T-shirts. Make sure you get them all right now. Get in there.
And
There's
don't
a bunch of boxes.
And don't let them tell you
get over there.
They run out. They never run out.
Oh no. They'll go back out to the Fox Sports fan and bring more in.
Will go get some more.
If you are over right now at Ballpark Village, get your free T-shirt and hat.
And if you need to complain to somebody, it's David Percorni.
And there is a strike to Ray Garcia. See Colleen right there. Colleen Loach. She doesn't have to do it, our pregame show producer, because she already has.
She already has. Those guys in the front office, they get all the gear.
Yeah. Bill Cochran, our producer, is dressed in all Fox Sports gear, from shoes, socks, T-shirt, pants, hat. Tom Mee, our director, never comes to the ballpark without a Fox Sports Go cap or a Speak for Yourself cap. It's a big picture of Colin Cowherd and Jason Whitlock right on the top.
It's got to go all the way around the sides, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Put those heads on there.
Don't worry, we have plenty more folks over at Ballpark Village. Get in line. We've even got bags. Rosales, nice play. He was always known for his glove. Remember him in Cincinnati as a shortstop? He was really good. And that's what's helped him here at this level stay in the major leagues.
Yeah, very good point. And 2 hard hit balls in this inning alone.
So 2 outs, nobody on. Yeah, that's it. Just go ahead and line up.
Yeah.
We got plenty for you. No problems. We need to bring in reinforcements or more product. We'll be happy to do it. Absolutely. We're just trying to better the company, aren't we, Al?
Absolutely.
Jerko out to deep left field. Did he do it again? You bet he did. This man is red hot against his former team. The former Padre. Jerko again with a home run. They can't get him out. 10th home run this year. Cardinals on top 1-0.
That's the 11th consecutive game the Cardinals hit a home run. 22 total in those 11 games. And Jerko now has hit a home run in 5 straight games against his former mates. The last 2 in San Diego and the first 3 of this series here. They're paying part of his salary too, aren't they?
I think so. Matter of fact, I know so.
Yeah, it's a big chunk.
So 2 outs and nobody on. Yeah, that's got to sting a little bit. You know, that's your former teammate, and then all of a sudden the front office saying, wait a minute, I have to sign this guy's check on the 1st and the 15th of every month.
And it looked like they wanted that ball away. Came back over the middle and got deposited.
Breaking ball, and the pitcher fields it. That's Clemens, but Jed Jerko stays in this lineup, and we said, why not? Swinging one of the hottest bats since the All-Star break. 1-0 Cardinals. Even Rick Horton and Scott Warman are in line. You see Rick there. And if you're over at Ballpark Village, just peek up to the big screen. You'll get your free shirt. Maybe say hello and give us a wave. And I'm sure Ricky would be happy to oblige and give you an autograph or take a picture.
Yeah.
Scott Warman is there, and great to have Ricky there representing Fox Sports Midwest. But yeah, head on over there and get yourself a t-shirt, a bag, or a cap.
Speaking of doubleheaders, Ricky in one doubleheader. Kurt Kepshire, the half of the Possum twins. He and Danny Cox were that, but Kepshire got knocked out of a game in the first inning, and Ricky threw 8 innings in relief. Game 2 of the game at Philadelphia back in 1985. It was also, I remember the second game of a doubleheader in Cincinnati, kind of famous, where we had the 4 home runs. Mark Witt hit 4 home runs in that second game that got over about 2 o'clock in the morning.
Ricky's explaining that they are running out of shirts.
But no.
There's no limit, is there, Al? Not
Yeah.
to our understanding. So
Well,
I think the PR department.
Well, David Picorni should be going to get something.
Why not? His department's over there. Why not go over there and make sure you keep the fans happy?
It may be something that first time we know he did something. Scott Warman's trying to help out. Ricky's getting upset. He wants to sign autographs.
Ricky would be happy to do that. 2-2. Garcia, nice play to his left. Oh, what a play. Greg Garcia. Rob Solarte.
Very nice. See him go one into the hole. This one he goes up the middle. Both of them hit like rockets. You got to get that good first step. Here he reaches down, then gets his feet underneath him, spins and throws. Solarte was out by a good 20 feet. The ball was hit so hard. Times I didn't know he had as good a throwing arm either.
Agreed. You know, Jim Edmonds made an interesting point the other day about when you stretch too early as a first baseman, and I think Adam showed us there. There's a hot shot to Jerko about how as a first baseman you don't commit too early, especially with Garcia spinning. You don't know where that throw's going.
Yeah, I played a little first base, obviously not at this level, but that is something that you can't commit too soon, because if the ball sails on you, then you limit yourself in your movement just to kind of almost straddle the bag, and then I could go left or right with the throw.
You straddle it too early, or you make that,
or commit and step on it.
Yeah, you're all of a sudden locked in. Can't make the adjustment left or right. 2 outs and nobody on, and here's Dickerson. Looks at a strike. Two outs, nobody on, and an 0-1 pitch to Alex Dickerson. It made a very fine play on that ball that was hit by Garcia last inning. It's now 4 ground ball outs that Garcia has gotten. Make it 5. Adams, Garcia at a 1-2-3 inning, and some good defense behind him here in the top of the 4th. Coming up for the Cardinals, Adams, Pham, and Hazelbaker. 1-0 St. Louis. Across St. Louis. Let's check in with Jim Hayes. Jimmy.
Dan, with the doubleheader, the Cards get a 26th man, and that man is Dean Keykamper, who was recalled from Memphis. He appeared in 11 games with the Cardinals earlier this season, and he's obviously thrilled to be back, even if it could be on a one-and-done basis. He told me any chance you get to be up here is unbelievable. He also said having been here gives him confidence. He said, I know how to go about things. I know the guys, and I know I can get guys out. Dan Keykamper did hold lefties to a 174 batting average in his first stint, so he can be a weapon.
Well, Dean, we'll see if he sticks around. Again, you get that protection with that 26 man that's added in a doubleheader. We'll see how the Cardinals, if and when, or how they use him here tonight. It's Adams, Pham, and Hazelbaker.
And they should be in good shape with Carlos Martinez going 7 innings. Segras very efficient first 8th inning, and then O picks up the save in the 9th. Nobody was overly taxed.
Here's the 0-1 pitch to Adams. You know, Al, we've had a lot of fans continue to ask us, and understandably, about the rainout yesterday. If you had a ticket to the game last night, that ticket is good for 2 future tickets for each ticket purchased last night. So you picked up 2 tickets, you got 4 to a game this season or next year. It's a good faith gesture following the rainout that forced the quick turnaround for today's rescheduled game. The club will email, if you purchase your tickets via email, they'll email you that ticket offer, and hopefully you'll take advantage of it. That's the Cardinals' appreciation of their fan base. Adams, a swing and a miss. Strikeout of Matt Adams, and that's number 2 tonight for Paul Clemens, and it brings in Tommy Pham. 1-0 Cardinals here in the bottom of the 4th as we take a look at our home run leaderboard. Cardinals at 127. Academy Sports and Outdoors leaderboard.
They're swinging the bat. Who knows? May overtake the Nationals tonight. Homered in 11 straight games. 22 home runs during those 11 games.
That pitch taken low. Pham came up with runners at 2nd and 3rd and grounded out. That ended a threat back in the 1st. Wrapping up business, it looks like. (3-1) on Tommy Pham. Big gap in left center. Taps it foul.
Trying to get a little consistency, and you'd hope a guy like Clemens, who predominantly a minor league pitcher, be a guy that he can dial back in on.
3-2 pitch, and he walked him. So the first walk issued by Clemens. Six is a serious number, and on the run when the Cardinals score 6, any size drink just 50 cents the next day. That's coffee, fountain, frozen drinks. So when they score, you pour at your nearest on the run. You earned it. What an impression Jeremy Hazelbaker made making the club. Barely made it the final day of spring training after a couple of injuries. He burst onto the scene, providing some speed and power off the bench.
Just like Keycapper was talking about, every time you get back up here, you're auditioning for your future. 750 plus minor league games for Hazelbaker, and he proved to us that, you know, he can play at this level.
Pham may have been leaning towards second there.
I thought so.
Might be a time to run right now. You're up by a run, 1 out. Hazelbaker.
And you know, you like to see put a little pressure on the defense. Their defense has been very good today, but they, like the Cardinals, have had problems with a ton of errors.
Yeah, coming into this series, Al, they were the 2 bottom teams in errors fielding percentage in the National League. Andy Green was with Arizona, and he used to set the defenses for Chip Hale's club, then gets hired here with the Padres. A lot of shifting a year ago with the Diamondbacks. The 0-1. Hit out of play.
Even read where Tony La Russa paid Andy Green an extreme compliment, where he just thought that he was a potential superstar as a manager. One of those, utility infielder type guys that didn't have a consistent job, but learned the game the right way, managing the system. And then third base coach with Arizona, very instrumental in helping out Chip Hale, and now he gets a chance to run the Padres.
Pham is leaning. So a guy like Hazelbaker gets brought back up. The starts are going to be here and there, not every day. Who are some of the top bench players that you played with, and then how did they keep themselves sharp game to game?
It's really difficult, but Steve Braun was one of those guys that could keep himself in great shape. It takes a special knack that you got to get your work in. You got to do it at so many different positions. Now with these new stadiums where you have batting cages underneath, you do have the luxury where you can take a few swings and hit off a pitcher before you even come up for that pinch hitting appearance. And remember, when Hazelbaker was up here earlier, he had 3 home runs as a pinch hitter this year.
Check on Pham. It's also not just keeping yourself in shape, but also trying to keep up with the speed of the game.
Yeah, John Wathan was another guy that I just had great respect for. John Wathan was a catcher, but played first base, played the outfield, ran extremely well. So he was a real asset.
Any player will tell you they'll take 1,000 hacks in a cage, but it is nothing like the game speed and facing a pitcher in the major leagues, 40,000 people. You just can't duplicate it.
In my mind, today's hitters hit way too much. They take way too many swings, and after a while you get tired and you pick up bad habits. The old days, Red and Stan say they got 8 swings before a game. Rarely do you ever hear a hitter that says, well, I went in there and I took a few swings and I got locked in and I walked away.
Right.
There might have been 10 more 20 minutes left of the batting practice session, but they go, I don't want to get out of the rhythm that I'm in right now.
And when they're going bad, it reinforces the bad sometimes.
Yes. Well, that's what I'm saying. You pick up bad habits. Your arms get weary and you keep on swinging and swinging, and then your arms are dropping and you're picking up bad habits, and you're just reinforcing muscle memory in a negative way.
Pham is running on the 1-2, swung on and missed, and a stolen base for Tommy Pham. Third strikeout for Paul Clemens, and an opportunity for Colton Wong.
I'm sure that if we had the stopwatch that Billy Miller had, you would see that that was not a quick release to the plate, and that stolen base was off of the pitcher. That's what Norris is going out to talk to him about.
He had thrown over 3 consecutive times prior to that steal, and I'm sure part of this conversation, Derek Norris and Paul Clemens, is about signs. And then secondly, do you want to deal with Colton Wong here, or do we feel that we can get Rosario out and have the confidence in getting the 8th place hitter?
Good point. And also, that was the first steal and the first attempt for Tommy Pham.
Outfield fairly shallow in left and in center. 2 outs, runner at second base. Inside to Wong.
And what they may do too is if he continues to pitch behind in the count to Wong, at some point they may go ahead and put him on. But the idea is to make him hit your pitch out of the strike zone, and get himself out.
And a strike, 1-1. Chevy Fox tracks, and it catches the inside portion of the plate. The runner at second base is Tommy Pham. Off-speed pitch, drops in for a strike, and it's 1-2.
See that breaking ball and another hanger. Next year, you know, with the effort they're talking about raising the strike zone, if they do that, guys are going to swing at those pitches, and you're going to see how far they go, and that's going to be your increased offense.
The 1-2.
A lot of times guys do not swing at the high curveball because it's not called a strike.
Do we really need to see an increase in offense? I mean, the ball is flying out right now at rates that we haven't seen in over 5 years.
Well, I think that was the intent before the season, but you're right, the way it's going right now.
There's a lot of talk of a juiced baseball.
I say it's not, but hard to
Makes
believe.
you wonder.
Yes.
2-2 the count on Colton Wong as Clemens has really slowed it down here in the bottom of the fourth. John Morosi of Fox Sports reporting that Andrew Kashner could be traded before his start tomorrow.
Maybe one of the reasons why he didn't start tonight. He was originally expected to start tonight.
And Wong, a swing and a miss way out in front as Clemens strikes out the side. We have played 4. It's game 2 of the doubleheader. 1-0 St. Louis on a Jed Jerko home run. All right, guys, thank you. 1-0 St. Louis. We're in the top of the 5th. Adam Rosales against Jaime Garcia. Star Wars night here at the ballpark. Darth Vader is here. The Stormtroopers. Fred Bird is a Jedi. Boy, Al, it doesn't get any better at the old ballpark.
Well, everybody seemed to have a character and have somebody today to be part of Star Wars. I was Chewbacca, right?
We have Yodi or Yadi.
Oh, I was hoping that was going to be you, but
no. I'd go with Yoda. He's a very bright individual. Tough play for Jerko, do or die, and couldn't come up with it.
Yeah, it's going to be a base hit, infield hit there, do or die, as you said, and just didn't make the connection. Oh boy.
Oh yeah.
Oh boy.
Really like those pants. Good looking shirt, nice cape.
A little high waisted, huh?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, Al, you got to get into it. It's Star Wars night.
No, I mean, my costume, it's a little hot wearing that thing.
It would have been hot for you, for sure. Here's the Emperor.
I look like Jim Hayes.
Al. Here's Alexi Ramirez. Takes a pitch high. So man at first and nobody out. 1-0 St. Louis on a Jed Jerko home run. Garcia would love the double play here. It's the ground ball, but it's tapped foul.
Turn one double play behind him. It was the 16th double play. That's third best in the National League. It's tied with, well, he was tied with Wainwright, and Carlos Martinez leads the National League in ground ball double plays with 21.
Inside. Rosales is your runner at first base. Pulled foul again near the Padres dugout. Evens it up at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
I see you can really mix it up, spot that fastball, and then good changeup right there. But with the movement he has, you know, you really don't want to tell him too much. Just set up in the middle of the plate and just let the ball run which way. Has the ability, it looks like he turns his changeup overall a lot of times, and other times he'll get it moving into the right-handed batter.
Big gap in left center field. Runner at first is Rosales. The 2-2 ground ball hit up the middle, and it finds a hole into center field, and Rosales on his way to third. Runners at the corners and nobody out for the Padres.
That's what frustrates a pitching coach, is when you have the bottom of the order 7, 8, and 9, and there you see the big looping curveball hits the big hanger, and yet it's just a ground ball that bounced right over the mound and goes on through. But you got 7, 8, and 9 in the order coming up, and the first 2 guys reach on base hits. Now you expect a bunt.
Frustrating too for Garcia. Gets a slow roller hit left side, ground ball, infield hit, then a little seeing eye single there as Clemens bunts it foul.
Yeah, a lot of times you're screaming at the hitter saying, hit the ball hard, hit it like a man. You know, if you hit it one off the wall, you can kind of deal with it. But when you hit those little chinkers and they find a way, you get frustrated with it. But you got to forget about it and get ready to attack the next hitter.
How about the responsibility of the runner at third, even when the pitcher is showing bunt on this play?
It's what we call a safety squeeze, that, you know, you don't break home in a suicide squeeze. You wait and see if the ball gets down, how hard it's hit. But the objective is to get a second man into scoring position. And if it's a really good bunt or placed so well, then that runner at third has the prerogative to come on home, try and tie this game. But if he just gets the runner at first into scoring position, you know, you're a productive out.
Runners at first and third, and here's an 0-2 pitch. to Clemens, and he struck him out. Strikeout number 4 for Garcia. Runners at first and third, 1 down, and here's Jankowski, who is lined out to right and also struck out. Have to be an extremely hard hit ball to double him up.
Yeah, and you can see where Carter's more concerned about this defensive alignment with Jankowski and his speed.
Fans over at Ballpark Village, all now wearing Fox gear. Jankowski showing bunt, and strike 1.
Sally's the runner at third base. You can see how he can come down the line as Jerko, the third baseman, is playing, coming in. And we've seen a lot of times, Dan, where the guy like Jankowski, who can really bunt for base hits, but they have a hard time sacrificing. They just can't wait. They got him running out of the box.
It's a good point. Good distinction between the two, and how you're bunting to put the ball in play as opposed to bunting and also the momentum maybe taking you up the first base line.
Yeah, I mean, they're just like, they know that they can, you know, with any kind of good bunt, they can be an infield hit. So they're almost running out of the box instead of being stationary and making sure you put the bunt down.
So 1 ball, 1 strike, and with that in mind, Jerko is in on the grass at third. Matt Adams holding at first. Count of 1 ball and 1 strike. Outfield is shallow, big gap in right center.
One of the things you can do, throw over to first base like that and just order from the bench, and then just have Mike Matheny and his coaching staff and, you know, Yachty and everybody else look and see if he gives you any indication whether he's going to swing or not. Double play depth up the middle.
Here's a 1-1 pitch to Jankowski. Ooh. Borderline pitch, and now it really changes the complexion of this at bat. Instead of being 1-2, you're 2-1.
Well, it's a good call. It's off the plate, and it really looked like he aimed that pitch.
We're in the top of the 5th. You can see Ramirez pointing to Garcia as if to say he had balked, but time had been called. Gets the bunt down. Garcia to the plate, and they got him. He's out. One of the biggest plays of the day. Jaime Garcia fielding his position and nails Rosario at home plate.
And it's so difficult to defense that play. You get the bunt down, and rarely do you ever get the out. And Garcia, watch how he fields this ball. It's hit a little bit too hard, but you see where he is, totally off balance. He didn't take a crow hop, didn't have time to take one, and throws it home plate. He's off balance right there. Give him a lane, and then come and seal it off.
Good call, too, by the home plate umpire. That view gave it to you. He got the left arm of Rosales diving in, and Rosario, the catcher, perfect position. He gives a lane to the runner, and he's there to make the tag.
I mean, the rule is to not get any catchers hurt, but it really does give the offensive team some really easy scoring chances that they wouldn't have had in old days, where they could just seal off the plate. Now, you would probably had a collision there, and you run the risk of getting your catcher hurt or a base runner hurt.
So runners now at first and second, 2 outs. Will Myers with 2 of the 4 Padre hits. The first pitch is a strike. He is singled into right center, back of the first, singled into right in the third. That may prove to be the play of the game tonight. Certainly has been so far, along with the Jerko home run.
Garcia falls towards third base a little bit, so he had to really correct his body and get back to the first base side to field that ball.
You could also see he was fighting to get it out of the glove.
Yeah, and you know, but he didn't have the time to take that crow hop and get there in position, so you really run the risk that you're going to make a bad throw. See him come over here, and now it almost looked like his right leg was set, and he had to throw it with a stiff right leg. He did get it moving a little bit, and that helped him with his location.
Here's a 1-1 pitch. You look at that pitch there and you say, well, that's pretty hittable there for Will Myers, but he does have that late little cut. Tough to center it.
That's it. That's what we always talk about, the late movement, and very difficult to center the ball, especially when it's down. If it's up, it doesn't move as much.
1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 on and 2 outs. Inning started with a base hit, an infield hit, and then a seeing eye base hit to center. Strikeout of Clemens. Jankowski put the bunt down, and now the 1-2 to Myers. Ground ball. Jerko across the diamond. Padres still not on the board. Garcia pitching out of this 5th inning jam. 1-0 St. Louis. West is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price every day. And by your local Volkswagen dealer. Very warm night once again here in the Gateway City. We're at Busch Stadium in St. Louis, and the Cardinals, behind a Jed Jerko home run, have a 1-0 lead. It'll be Rosario, Garcia, and then Ray Garcia. Jaime sandwiched between Greg and Alberto.
Very important to try and put some pressure on Clemens this inning. He's feeling bad. He didn't get the bunt down. He strikes out. He missed a great scoring opportunity. He's trailing once again by 1. So put the pressure on him and see if you can't knock him out this inning.
Hit out to left. 1 pitch, 1 out. Watch every out-of-market game live in high definition. It's MLB.tv. Visit their website, see Cardinals baseball, phone, tablet. It's MLB.tv.
He did a great job to escape that inning. Take charge there. Hit one of the best bolts of the night.
like a very good play by Dickerson and left to rob Garcia. That was back in the 3rd inning.
Yeah, middle of the warning track, over the shoulder catch. Got a couple career home runs.
2 strikes. After the Cardinals see the Dodgers this weekend, they head out on the road. I've mentioned this many times, but every road trip is 3 cities in the second half. And the Cardinals will start with the New York Mets. 3 with them, 4 with Miami, and then 3 in Cincinnati. We come back to St. Louis after the weekend. It'll be August 5th.
Yeah, you know, the Cardinals, like all clubs, have great accommodations on the road. The charter flights are all great, but it is something about a 3-city. Just wears on you, pulls you down.
And a strikeout for Clemens of Jaime Garcia. That's 5 tonight. He struck out 3 of the last 4. The bold and refreshing frozen strawberry lemonade. It's back, and it's only available at McDonald's.
I'm not sure the Padres knew what they were going to expect from their starter tonight. And now it kind of looks like they've given up on that curveball at times, and now it's got to he's throwing a little better and throwing it for strikes. I'm not a fan of his mannerisms on the mound. It is hot, but he looks like he, you know, you got to translate and put a positive image out there that you're the coolest guy on the field, and the hitters should be feeling the heat.
There's your curveball, and that pitch again has been hit and miss.
Yeah. Well, they said it's been real inconsistent. He probably would throw more curveballs tonight, but you can't blame the Cardinals for giving up on it, especially until they get 2 strikes. Just look straight fastball.
In the dirt to Greg Garcia. He is struck out and grounded out.
You know, if he can throw his curveball for strikes and then get 2 strikes and throw it like that, you know, down the way, you're going to get some swing and misses. But he's really had trouble prior to tonight getting swing and misses.
2-2. Excuse me, 3-1. How are you holding up with this doubleheader, Al?
I'm ready to go. Ready to go.
Yeah.
No problems. Let's play 3. Told you we're going to have 17 innings in this second game.
Oh, really? It's a 2-out walk to Garcia, and it brings in Jerko. That's the last man that the Padres want to see right now. He is singled and homered, his 2nd home run of the day.
And I'm sure Norris is going out there and saying, look, there's a man on first base, but 2nd and 3rd are not occupied. Do not throw this guy a strike. Pitch off the plate. Hopefully he'll get himself out, but there hasn't been a Padres pitcher that's gotten him out this year.
Take you back to the 3rd inning, and once again, Jed Jerko. Home run number 10.
He is now 15 for 21 this year against San Diego, and it's hit a home run in each of the last 5 games, including tonight. Excuse me, he's 12 for 19. It's Diaz that's 13 for 19. So our hottest hitter isn't even in the game. .632 average. Diaz is .684.
Here's a 1-0 pitch. Jerko again. Left center. Oh my! Way out of here. You can't get this guy out. Unbelievable. His 2nd home run in this game. 3rd of the day in this man, oh man, the former Padre is torching his former club.
11 home runs on the year, and what is it, 6 against the Padres this year. That will earn a curtain call. See the glove, supposed to be away. The glove comes up over the middle, and there's another bomb. And their curtain call is happening right now. I'm sorry, Dan, but this is the way we expected this team to play at home this year. Coming into action after winning the first game, they're 5 games under 500 at home, but 10 games over 500 on the road.
This is the Jed Jerko show against the Padres. Now Piscotty lines it into center. And the catch is made, but Jed Jerko once again. His second home run tonight against the Padres. And along with that, here in St. Louis, you get the curtain call. Well-deserved, Jed Jerko. Jed 3, Padres nothing. $2.5 million of Jed Jerko's salary next year. The AT&T high-speed replays. Jaime Garcia, last inning, so important. Strikeout, runner at first and third. Then the play at the plate. This ground ball handled easily by Jerko, and we talked about it at the time. Maybe the moment and at bat of the game, especially with Jankowski up.
He also said that you have to take advantage and get to Clemens. They did so. The 2-run home run by Jerko. They got Quackenbush warming up.
As you told me the other day, is Kemp hits a high fly ball out to deep left, and this ball is gone. So the Padres get on the board. Matt Kemp with the home run, and that's number 20 this year.
You said his numbers are going to be there when it's all said and done. Healthy again. Still doesn't run as well as he once did. He has no stolen base attempts at all this year, but 20 home runs, 63 RBIs. Wraps this curveball, and it just stayed up. And the Cardinals will start getting their bullpen active. Seth Maness throwing in the Cardinals pen. Good to see him being used in more important roles.
It's another home run for the Padres. They continue to rack those up. That's a fair ball. Long throw by Jerko. Nice play. Gets Solarte, who's over 3. It's your world, Jed. We're just all living in it.
Yeah. You see Maness, but think Jerko did the right thing. It was questionable whether it was going to be fair or foul. Well, you just don't wait and have an umpire tell you. You go ahead and assume it's a fair ball.
Brings in Derek Norris, a 3-1 ball game. Norris 0 for 2. He's popped out to third and grounded out to third. Outfield is straight away. Manus has had 2 back-to-back games in which he's gone 1, 2, 3. So Cardinals like what they see and maybe gaining some of that confidence back.
In very quick fashion, too. Getting the ball back down and makes a big difference. So good ever since it came up. Yeah, it's induced. '63 double play.
There's a broken bat liner into shallow left center, drops in for a hit. Norris on his way to second, and the throw is wide. Norris took the wide turn around first base. He should have been held to a single, and Hazelbaker kicking himself right now.
You got to do that at this level. You got to assume that they're always going to try and take the extra base. So ball starting getting up a little bit. It's time maybe he's tiring a little bit. You see Norris is watching all along and then decides to go for second. Rushes the throw. It's way off line. Be aggressive. Assume that they're going to try. You never embarrass yourself. If you come up very aggressive, throw the ball on a strike right there. And I'm sure Hazelbaker will learn from that one. He'll be reminded of it, but he played too long in the minor leagues that he knows the mistake he made.
It takes the double play out of order. So here is Dickerson with 1 out. And a fly ball that's well hit into deep left center. Calling for it, Pham. It's Hazelbaker who makes the catch. Norris tagging up from second to third.
Get together and talk about it a little bit. The rule of thumb is the center fielder takes charge, and Pham is calling for it all the way. And the last second, Hazelbaker reaches up. Can't say he's not calling for it. That's kind of another one of those little rookie mistakes where after you misplay a ball, you want to atone for it, and you almost misplay another.
So runner at third, that's Norris. This is Rosales, 7th place hitter.
Gave Norris a double on that ball.
Wow. That's not a double.
No.
3-1 our score. 2 outs, runner at third, and a 1-0 pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Last inning, Garcia was pressure innings. He escaped that jam. Remember, he had runners at first, or 2 base hits to lead off, so he had runners at first and third, second and third, and nobody out. Pitched out of it. Now another inning where you're under pressure. Probably his last inning of work.
A little bit high as Rosales tried to, or Rosario tried to pull that ball down.
See, in my mind, when you start seeing the ball up, that's an indication you're tiring. First thing that goes is your legs, and when your legs start tiring, the ball is elevated. And pitch 1, we talk about how Garcia has success when he keeps the ball down.
Another example there, that movement handcuffing Rosario.
There's the breaking ball. See, he shifts a glove there, but even Yachty, remember a couple starts ago, Yachty just had a tough time catching the ball. from Garcia.
And there's a walk. You can see that Garcia was saying to Mike, I'm down, I'm good, keep me in. He does not want to come out of this game, and Mike Matheny has made the call. He will go to the right-hander. So Seth Maness will come into this game with runners at first and third. This is our Chevy call to the bullpen. I'm sure a part of this is the hot night and a nice ovation for Jaime Garcia. Kids 15 and under entering with a ticket receive their own limited edition Cardinals bear. Compliments of Build-A-Bear Workshop. And don't forget to visit Build-A-Bear Workshop's new store, now located in the Ford Plaza. For information at cardinals.com/promotions.
Been a tough season for Seth. Had a tough spring, couldn't get the ball down. Then spent some time on the disabled list, missed 32 games, but pitching much better his last couple times out. And this is one of the tighter situations we've seen him used in a while. So, you know, you talk about Garcia, you wanted to stay in there. You always want your pitcher to want to stay in there, but as a manager, you have to make that decision. And I think he made the right one, taking him out.
Rosario kept it in front. You saw some pitches up. Maybe the hot night contributes to that as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, you know, it's 2 innings in a row where you're under real tense scrutiny. They're threatening. It's not like an easy inning.
Here's a 1-1 pitch. Ground ball. There's Maness again. Jerko across the diamond, and he makes the play. He'll strand the 2 runners. Good work by Seth Maness, and it's a 3-1 ball game in favor of St. Louis. Over to the crib, and we've got UFC Fight Night. She shocked the world when she took out undefeated Ronda Rousey. Now Holly Holm will face a kickboxing legend, Valentina Shevchenko. UFC Fight Night, Saturday 5 only on Fox.
Let's go.
Well, as you told me the other day, it's one of the great names in sports, Kevin Quackenbush.
Quackenbush. 40th appearance. ERA right a notch below 4. This is his 3rd year with the Padres. 57 games last year, a 4.01 ERA, 3 wins and 5 decisions. Strikeout per inning.
So here is Adams, third baseman, should say the shortstop. Ramirez near that third base side, and they've got the shift on for Adams. They did this in game 1 and he beat it with a double down the right field line. Here's a 1-0 pitch taken high. Here's John Mozeliak, Cardinals GM, on the right. Will Mozeliak, his son, on the left, and that's Aiden, their buddy, taking in the game here tonight, enjoying Star Wars night. Will, Aiden, John.
Decision makers for the Cardinals.
You got it. We'll have to ask Will and Aiden what they think about the trade deadline. What should we do, guys? What do you think?
Make a deal.
Look, John, are you happy?
You got to decide.
Are you happy? Are you happy you're here? Yeah, I guess so. Well, you're in the GM's box. You got to be happy. Dad is taking Will out to a game, bringing his buddy. Why not have a little fun?
I guess Jim's not in there because of the guest.
Well, usually Jim is in there.
Yeah, that's me.
Jim has a very good relationship with the Cardinals GM, and
I kid about it, but you're absolutely right. He had a great relationship with all the players.
Yeah. 3-1 pitch. Adams hits it out of play.
And he has a very difficult job and does it. He excels at it. Players do really like him. And
you know, Al, I don't know if our fans realize that John Mozeliak, he wasn't just the assistant GM, and then all of a sudden when Walt was let go, he's promoted. He has run every facet of this organization. Minor league system, the draft, pro scouting. Then he was the assistant GM as Adams spins away and takes a called third strike. And he has done a remarkable job, because in sports, when you win, usually there's that dip. The talent goes for whatever reason. They get older, they retire, some you can't sign. But he has overseen the foundation of this group to produce player after player after player. And he was saying the other day, he thinks the minor league system is better now than it's been in years.
that's what I've heard. And what I like about him is not afraid to pull the trigger. Not every deal is going to be 100% in your favor. But, you know, he's a man of conviction. And he believes in the trades he makes. And if it's not working, well, we try to find something that does.
Kevin Quackenbush on the mound. The Hyundai pitch arsenal, fastball and curve. John has done an excellent job here in St. Louis.
Very involved in the community. You know, the general manager's job is a 12-month, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, and yet he will be out in the community and does an awful lot of good things for charities. And we thank him every year, along with the ownership group, because they give us a championship caliber team.
And right now he's got to listen to Will and Aiden. Forget all the trade talk. Forget what's happening on the field. It comes down to Sprite, Coke, pretzel, popcorn, ice cream. What do you need? That's the role of the dad. 3-2 with 1 out and nobody on. And that's a strikeout of Tommy Pham. Looked to be a pretty good pitch.
You got to protect the plate when you got 2 strikes. These umpires are going to at times be generous, so a pitch like that's a little too close to take. Hazelbaker over 2. First game since he's been called back up, but misplayed the ball in left field, and you hope he doesn't try to feel like he has to do too much here to make up for it. He will help us win some games.
Pitch taken high by Hazelbaker.
He already has. And
absolutely. Think about Hazelbaker on opening day and what he did.
Like I said, 3 pinch hit home runs in the early going. That ties the record for the most in one season.
1 ball and 1 strike. But tonight in this series, it has belonged to Jed Jerko.
I think we're all happy for it. Let some other guys contribute, but
here's a 1-1 and a ground ball, base hit right side. We saw Tommy Pham with a stolen base earlier tonight. We'll see if the Cardinals, even though there's 2 outs, do they want to run with Jeremy Hazelbaker?
So he recognized the curveball, kept the hands back, and then pulled the trigger. Just hitting .325 at AAA. It's spent a little time on the disabled list. He already is tied for the team lead with 4 stolen bases, and he hadn't been here for more than a month, right?
Right. Here's Colton Wong. Wong hits it out of play. Reminder, the earlier start tomorrow, 6:15 with the first pitch. Cashner and Wainwright will come your way at 5:30 with the pregame show. And a ground ball that's hit up the middle. Taken there by the second baseman, Rosales. And off the bag is Myers.
Tried to sell it, but you could tell he was off the bag. First base umpire, Chris Guccione, he initially was going to call him out, but then he stayed with the call. These umpires staying with the calls a lot longer now with replay, and you can see why he called him safe. No question at all.
Andy Green taking a longer look at it. Mark McGuire on the phone. Wong seems to be safe.
We knew the foot did come off the bag. The only question is, did he have the ball in the back of his glove before it did? They're going to let it go. Well, an interesting single right there.
So base hit for Wong. After Quackenbush struck out the first 2. Been 2 singles, and now Rosario, who's 0 for 2, grounded out to short, flied out to left.
Made his major league debut after 11 years in the minor leagues. Got a base hit his first time up, and the next day he started the game and got another base hit. Has 1 RBI to this point.
Hits it off the end of the bat, but that'll carry to center, and the catch made by Jankowski. 6 innings in the books. Game 2 of this doubleheader from steamy Busch Stadium, and the Cardinals have the lead of 3-1. Baseball is brought to you by Bud Light. Rays 1-2 right now. And by Ford, the official cars and trucks of the St. Louis Cardinals. Six hits aside and a 3-1 St. Louis lead. Tyler Lyons checks in. Our Chevy called to the pen after Seth Maness got the final out in the 6th. 27th appearance for Lyons, and he is one of the options for the Cardinals to start potentially on Sunday night.
He's really done a nice job. The only thing that you don't like right there is the 8 home runs. So it's like every 5th inning he gives up a home run, and he's too good for that. Strikeout per inning, 10 hits less than innings pitched. He'd be a starter with many clubs, and I would say that the same thing with San Diego. He'd be in their rotation.
There's Ryan Schimpf.
He hit the 2-run home run in game 1. That was in the 1st inning, second batter of the game against Martinez. That was it. Martinez gave up a double to Jankowski, then this one, a long one, middle of the grassy area out in the batter's eye club. I'm sure Carlos just threw that ball down and away and said, go ahead and hit it. But they've said this kid, since he's come up, just about every time he hits it, it's an extra base hit.
Well, we've seen the ball really jump off his bat.
This is his 6th home run, 11th RBI, and he hasn't been here that long.
So 2-1 the count. Tyler Lyons, his spot is due up first for the Cardinals. Looking at the bottom of the 7th, the Cardinals did use Siegrist and O in game 1. And a high fly ball lifted into deep right field. Piscotty is back. He'll look up, leaps, and it's over the wall. Just over the wall. And I mean, Piscotty missed it by an inch or 2. And Schimpf with the home run, and Steven would love to have another crack at that one.
Ninth home run that Lyons has allowed. And there you see the big hanging breaking ball, and he gives it a ride. Little package, but he packs a wallop over the first wall, just barely.
Now Jankowski back to a 1-run lead for the Cardinals. St. Louis jumped out to a 3-0 lead after 4 innings. Then the Padres came up with a run in the 6th, another here in the 7th, and it's 3-2.
.74 at bats. Schimpf has got 5 doubles, a triple, 7 home runs.
You know what's curious is that you have Lyons pitching here tonight. Is the idea to give him just 1 inning to keep him somewhat sharp for what could be a start on Sunday? Then you have Siegrist, you have O in the back end of games, and they pitched earlier today. So there's a lot of different things, a lot of juggling parts happening for Derek Lilliquist and Mike Matheny.
Everybody says that, okay, you know, when you're on the side, you can keep loose and you keep sharp, but it doesn't work that way. His last outing was before the All-Star break. It's on the 9th at Milwaukee. And I find it the first time these relievers come back after the All-Star break, you just have to kind of deal with that performance. After that, they'll get zoned back in, but it's that first time you get on the mound, it's a little questionable.
Jonathan Broxton, you would have to think Bowman, certainly Keycapher, all available to go tonight. The question would be Siegrist and O. And Broxton begins to throw as we speak.
Well, I would find that I would have to say they are available.
Here's a ground ball that's hit to second. Cole Wong is there for the out.
might want to stay away from them.
Yeah.
But to say that they're not available because they threw an inning in the first game, that's being a little too protective, and that's it. But you know, you get a couple batters, you go and throw, and all of a sudden now you hope he's back on track.
It's our Chevy call to the pen. Jonathan Broxton coming on. Lyons gives up the home run to Schimpf, and it's a 3-2 St. Louis lead. One out. Look at Mike Leake, and that leads us to Quicken Loans Rocket Arms. Highest strikeout to walk ratio. Kershaw, his immediate future, and maybe the season future, up in the air for he, along with the Dodgers, may have knee surgery. Then Syndergaard, Tomlin, Leake, and Fernandez.
Dan, it used to be that you had a 2-to-1, strikeout to walk ratio. You were considered pretty good. 3-to-1 was incredible. And now you see these kids just phenomenal. Handful of walks.
Will Myers with a fly ball into shallow center. Wong. Oh, what a catch, Colton Wong. Late break by Pham. Did not read it well off the bat. It was all up to Colton Wong, and he makes the catch.
Boy, that ball has to be caught, and Colton Wong does what you got to do. You go out there until you're called off by an outfielder. He wasn't called off, and Pham wasn't in position. So he kind of overran it, then had to reach back and makes the circus catch. Very nice play for Colton Wong. Much more difficult than Tommy Pham coming in.
So Broxton, one pitch, one out. Here is Kemp, who is homer tonight, back in the 6th.
Former teammates here at one time, the Dodgers.
2 outs, first pitch, and a strike.
And just to kind of make that point again, that after the All-Star break, you really kind of have to suffer through what your relievers do that first time out. His last time out, he took a loss against Miami, his first time after pitching, after the break, a long layoff.
Good slider, 0-2. Plaza Tire Fox Tracks.
Good bite to that. See how tight the rotation is, the spin. Hitters will talk about a dot. The tighter it is, the better the pitch.
The 0-2 off the mask of Rosario, and then it caught the home plate umpire David Rackley.
Glove to the mask to Rosario and to the breadbasket for home plate umpire.
Here's an 0-2 to Matt Kemp. We just had the kiss cam, and I had a nice note that said We met on the Kiss Cam. We are now getting married. Two huge Cardinal fans, and it's Kyle and Katie.
Great for them.
How about that? The Kiss Cam, you never know where you'll find love, Al.
Been told that, but I already found it. I'm good. I'm good. I'm domesticated.
You're a romantic man. Ladies, Al is off the market, just to let you know. Here's the 0-2 pitch to Kemp. Little tapper out in front of the plate. Broxton bare hands with time and makes the play. Jed Jerko putting on a show here today. Couple of home runs, 5 against his former team. It's been a lot of fun to watch. Jerko is coming up. And the Cardinals, thanks to Jed, third baseman tonight, they have a 3-2 lead, and it's time to stretch. Cardinals player hits a home run. The Gateway Honda dealers donate $1,000 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. So the Cardinals will pinch hit for Broxton. Looks like Kevin Segrist is up and throwing in the Cardinals pen. And it is Segrist. Rando Grichuk will be the pinch hitter. Kevin Quackenbush in his second inning of work out of the pen. Grichuk, first pitch, base hit into center.
Nice controlled swing. See him not trying to hit it too hard. Eyes riveted on the point of contact. Just hits it so hard, muscled it through the infield.
Well, Jed Jerko has homered in 5 consecutive games against his former team. 6 total this year.
6 of 11.
He's got 11 home runs now on the season. He is on deck, and it brings in Garcia. Reminds me what Jerko used to do against the Cardinals. He always had great series against St. Louis.
You're right. Probably one of the reasons why he's wearing the uniform. His success he had against Cardinal pitching. And the funny thing is too is this year, you know, most of his damage was on the road. So another good sign. Get another hitter hot at home, like Holiday's starting to pick up the pace. To me, these are very important wins. These 2 games right here, and winning two-run games. You'd love to see him here in the Hyundai home run inning, you know, explode and get a few more and get some Little safety, little pass.
They did that in game 1 with back-to-back home runs in the 7th inning. It's Grichuk and Jerko that night. Hit and run was on, and it's now a 1-1 count.
Talk about how the Cardinals really don't run much. They only have 22 steals on the year and caught 16 times. Horrible percentage. You got Diaz, Hazelbaker, and Piscotty leading the club with 4 steals each.
1-2. Crowd tonight of 41,012. 41012.
Put that foot down. He had to just take it. He was already committed.
Garcia on a hop to third, out at second, the turn, and they throw it away. Did not go in the Cardinals dugout, so Garcia stays put at first base. So Jed Jerko has made some history against his former team. He's got 2 home runs tonight, 3 today. Most home runs against San Diego in a single season. McGuire back in 1999. That year he had 65. 98 he had 70. Jerko this season 6 games, 6 home runs.
And should I tell you this, that he's 1 for 2 off of Quackenbush, and the 1 hit was a home run. Hey, move over Mark Whitten. Mark Whitten, second game of a doubleheader in Cincinnati, hit 4 home runs. That game ended about 2 o'clock in the morning, and probably just hundreds of fans left in that, but I thought it ruined his career because everybody made such a big deal out of it. He saw it all the sports shows, the fact that he hit 4 home runs in a game, and it seemed like after that he tried to duplicate that night every game the rest of his career, and obviously he didn't do it.
Here's an 0-1 pitch to Jed Jerko. Taps it slowly towards third, and he is out. So advancing, it's Garcia to second, and they actually got him out. Back in the third, this got the Cardinals on the board. The catcher's reaction told it all. Then in the 5th, his next time up, bam, he did it again. And a curtain call right after that.
3 hits, first game of the series.
Here's Piscotty, who is hitless tonight, over 3.
Just a 1 home run, the 2-run home run in first game, and 2 more home runs, plus another base hit in the nightcap.
Mentioned that the Cubs have won today. That was this afternoon over the Mets. They won 6-2 at Wrigley. Rizzo with a couple of home runs. He's now up to 24. Runner at second, Greg Garcia. No balls and 2 strikes.
We know how well Piscotty hits with runners in scoring position. .425 average, tied for first in the National League. Has 34 hits there, but he's got 23 RBIs, runners in scoring position, and 2 outs. It's tops in the major leagues.
The 0-2. He'd love to add to that here. It's a 1-run lead in the bottom of the 7th. What has been a long day of baseball on a hot day here in St. Louis. Out of play. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Cardinals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Along with Al Raboski, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Jim Hayes here as well. The 1-2 pitch, and it swung on and missed, and a strikeout of Stephen Piscotty. We move to the 8th. Kevin Segrist is loose, and the Cardinals clinging to a 1-run lead. It's 3-2. A half game back of Baltimore in the American League East. So second game of the doubleheader, and the second time that we have seen Kevin Segrist. It's our Chevy call to the pen. 39th appearance and an ERA of 2.80.
1-2-3, 8th inning in game 1.
For anybody that's had mono, I mean, it can be very tough to come back from. It really saps your energy and your strength, and just wonder what's left in the tank right now for Kevin Segrist.
I talked to him about it today because, the first game back, remember he had a long period where he just did nothing. He was sitting at home. Then he had a couple of sideline sessions, but the first one really kind of zapped him. It was better the second one and best earlier today, but he says he feels good now.
That brings in Solarte. First pitch, that'll help. Fly ball into right. Stephen Piscotty. One away. Won't be too long. We'll be celebrating the class of 2016 heading into the Cardinals Hall of Fame presented by Edward Jones. That'll be August 27th. It's open to the public. Chris Carpenter, Joe Torre, Terry Moore, Sam Braden, all going in.
Terry Moore, the great center fielder of the 40s teams, the captain of those teams. Sam Braden was the owner for the very first World Series title, right?
Sam Braden?
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, that distinction, I think what Anheuser-Busch bought their team.
He had 4 shares of $200, 1917, to become a shareholder in the Cardinals, and then eventually gained controlling interest of the club. And during his tenure, a lot of championships won. A lot of great players, too. Here's a 1-0 pitch to Derek Norris.
It's a little different back then. I had one time, Johnny Mize, the big cat, as you look at Sam Braden, but one time did an interview with Johnny Mize, and he played before the Anheuser-Busch took over, but he was not complimentary at all to the ownership, you know, prior to that time. And I mean, almost to the point where he didn't want to talk.
Well, apparently with Sam Braden, he was very tight with the pennies.
And that's where
very tight.
Going from.
And I'm sure that's where it goes.
Yeah. And then when Gussie Busch took over, he was so good to his players. An example that everybody in the, you know, everybody had their own room on the road. He didn't have roommates until after the strikes happened, and he was convinced he'd take care of his players. You know, after every road trip, you got a slip of paper, 2 cases of beer. I traded in for Coca-Colas. So I think the supermarkets were happy about that, but they always scheduled the flight to leave before midnight, come back afterwards. You got a half-day meal money on both ends. That didn't have to pay. Oh yeah, and when the very first time we had a strike, he was convinced that his players would never walk out on it. But of course, there were so many, the Calvin Griffiths, a lot of the owners were just so stingy that everybody had to show the unity.
You can see there that Rosario looked like he wanted the curveball, and Segrist kept shaking him off, and eventually went with looked to be a fastball. Evens it up at 2-2.
Yeah, I like that, because Segrist prior to this year, it really was a 2-pitch pitcher. He was fastball, changeup, and had great success against right-handed batters, more so than even the lefties.
2-2 pitch, got him.
You know, in spring training, they worked so hard on the curveball to get the lefties out that I think he started throwing too many to the righties, and get back to what made you successful. Great fastball, great changeup. And the curveball now is a weapon against left-handed batters.
Alex Dickerson with 2 outs. Nobody on for San Diego here in the top of the 8th. Ball 1. Big gap in right center field. Once again on the air tomorrow. Come your way at 5:30 pregame show, 6:15 with the first pitch. Wrap up the series here with the Padres. And the 1-0. If Segrist can exit here, you'd have to think that O would have the 9th.
Yep.
And then you wonder about tomorrow, but worry about tomorrow when you get there.
And go out and tell your offense to score you 10 runs and win by 10.
A 2-0 pitch to Dickerson. Popped up. Jerko going out. Who else? He's done everything in this series, and he makes that play. Scoreless inning by Segrist. We're midway through 8 in game 2 of the doubleheader. Cardinals on top. It's 3-2. tickets, Philip, at Phillips 66. 8 gallons or more now until September 29th. Receive up to 50% off on a pair of tickets to a Cardinals home game. For more information, visit cardinals.com/Phillips66.
Ryan Buchter is throwing in now. He's our Chevy call to the bullpen. Pitched very well. 1-0, 2.41 ERA with 1 save. Holding opponents to a 173 average on the season. Lefties 132, righties under 200, 198. One of the young players they're happy about.
So Matt Adams leads it off for the Cardinals, followed by Tommy Pham and Jeremy Hazelbaker. Seung-Hwan Oh is up and throwing in the Cardinals pen. We are in the bottom of the 8th. The shift once again here for Adams. First pitch pulled foul. He has doubled and struck out twice.
Buchter is 29 years of age, this lefty that they're facing here.
One ball, one strike.
Originally signed by the Nationals, acquired by the Cubs. Acquired by the Atlanta Braves from the Cubs. Signed with the Dodgers, minor league free agent. Released by the Dodgers, signed by the Cubs, minor league free agent.
What do you always say about a lefty, Al?
If they have a heartbeat, they can pitch forever. And a curveball. Didn't have the curve. And we found out very late that I had heartbeat.
Still with us. Ken Rosenthal is reporting tonight. Expect Cashner to pitch tomorrow. One source told him, quote, 99.9% nothing will happen before then. So he is scheduled to go against Adam Wainwright in our ball game tomorrow night.
Maybe you plant that seed out there to tell an opposing club to up the offer or get more serious. That's important for the Cardinals to anticipate that's who they're going to face.
Leadoff walk here in the bottom of the 8th.
Boy, how many times does that spell trouble?
Last time we saw Adam Wainwright, the Cardinals pushed him Saturday. That was the night which we celebrated the '06 championship team, and he was sensational and one of the best nights of the year.
Yeah, that was so much fun to see him do what he's did that night in front of all of his former teammates, the 2006 World Championship team. Remember, he was a reliever and recorded the final out in the league championship game and the World Series via the strikeout.
Division Series,
and the Division Series.
3-2 our score. Here's Tommy Pham.
I kind of got the feeling, looking at those guys up in the suite, that they were pitching right with him that night.
Seemed that way. And you had 2 opposing front office personnel standing and cheering for Adam Wainwright, and Walt Jocketty and Tony La Russa. You don't see that every day.
No, but you know, they're great baseball men, and they're proud of what happened here, and they recognize, as the Cardinal fans do, you know, when you see greatness, you applaud it. And that was greatness. His 10th career shutout.
Well, now you fast forward, and he threw a lot of pitches, most he had thrown in 2 or 3 years in a game. It's going to be hot, steamy here at the ballpark, and you wonder about how long you go into a game. It's all the things that Mike Matheny thinks about. Any manager would.
But you know, Adam is a real professional, and it's not like his first time he's pitched on normal day rest and pitched here. There you see 3-hit shutout.
Not just Adam Wainwright, but Yadier Molina pointing to the '06 team. The moment. 2-1 pitch, 2-2.
Yeah, they knew where their former teammates were, and they made sure they honored them, not only during the game but afterwards with that performance.
Unique in the fact that a pitcher is taking pictures and visiting with people before he starts.
Yeah, the reenactment of the World Championship photograph in the clubhouse.
That's pulled foul.
It's not like we should be surprised that Adam performed so well. The Cardinals are 12-3 in his last 15 games that he's started. 7-3 in his last 10 starts at home.
The 2-2 pitch. And a strikeout of Pham.
High delivery up there. It's a sucker pitch. Pitchers love to get a hitter to swing at that one. They think they can hit it because it's eye level. They see it so well, and the only thing they can do is swing through it or, at best, pop it up.
There's Jeremy Hazelbaker, sinker through the right side. Back in the 6th inning. 1 out, 1 on. Let's see if he gets a breaking ball here. Been a lot of teams talking about Buchter as a potential addition to their relief corps. One of the names that's been talked about with the Padres. As you mentioned, how well-traveled veteran, could give the team that gets him a veteran that could help them out down the stretch.
At his 90 looks a lot harder than that, doesn't it?
Yep.
It's deceptive, kind of hides the ball well.
I always look at how a guy takes a pitch, and we've seen that with even Matt Adams, even though he drew a walk. But Hazelbaker, it's like they want to pull the trigger and can't, and that gives you a good indication that the guy is hiding the ball well or sneaky fast.
Fastball away, they want it up. Hits his spot, but out of the strike zone, and this time Hazelbaker lays off it. Opponents are only hitting 173 against him, but both lefties and righties under 200. Very valuable. This is his 45th appearance, so very durable.
Here's a 1-2. Foul back.
See him throw slightly across his body. Just about every lefty does that. Throw across their body, and so that's what makes it difficult for the left-handed batter. Their front shoulder wants to give, and they bail out.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you're pitching, that front shoulder is so important to keep it tight too, and don't let it fly open, and then you don't have command of their ball. It'll be up.
Here's a 1-2 pitch. Hazelbaker sends a high fly ball into right center. Jankowski with the catch. Out number 2.
I talk about throwing across your body, and just about every lefty does do it. But that front leg, instead of stepping straight out or towards home plate, it'll be a little bit off center towards first base. And so then your arm comes behind, and a hitter doesn't see. They see the front part of the body. They don't really pick up the arm because it's dragging behind the body. And then when you can throw hard, you know, a lot of guys don't want to stay in there, thinking that if you do miss, you know, it looks like you're almost throwing the ball behind them, particularly a left-handed batter.
So 2 outs, another lefty in Colton Wong. Runner at first is Matt Adams. Wong, strike 1.
You can really see when he gets in his setup position. They're trying to open up a little bit in order for him to get to the outside part of the plate for a left-handed batter. But when he steps towards the first base line or the dugout.
0-2. He's flied out to left. struck out and a single in inning number 6.
Colton just 1 home run on the year, very few extra bases. You don't want that to start playing with his mind, and every time up you're trying to jack the ball out of the ballpark. Just try and hit the ball hard. Accept what you get.
Two outs, 0-2 the count. It's it the other way, and a fly ball near the line. In fair territory, and the catch is made in foul territory. Seung-Hwan Oh trying to pick up a save here tonight and make it a clean sweep of this doubleheader. Is a Star Wars night here at the ballpark, and Ricky is coming up in the post-game show. It's a good look for Rick.
Yeah, best we've seen him.
Good sharp as always. Alexi Amarista. First pitch by O. Fly ball center field for the first out. Tommy Pham is there, and there's one away.
So Chevy called to the bullpen. O picked up his 3rd save in the first game, trying to pick up his 4th. He has been outstanding. All-time saves leader in Korea. Then he moved to Japan the last 2 years. Had 80 total saves, 39 and 41 there, and signed with the Cardinals, and we are thankful for it.
Brings in Alexi Ramirez with 1 out, nobody on. Nasty pitch right there. He's trying to become, always, the first Cardinals pitcher since Jason Isringhausen in 2004 to record 2 saves in a doubleheader. That's a long time ago. Cardinals all-time saves leader.
They don't happen as often as they used to, but good to see, and also tells you how tough it is to win them.
2 strikes.
To me, Dan, it's so important. They won the first game. It was a 2-run game. They win this one. It's a 1-run game where the bullpen's starting to show that they can close out these games when it's tight and win the close ball game. That was something they did with ease last year, but it's been a struggle this year.
He struck him out. Pitch at 96 from Seung-Hwan Oh. Budweiser player of the game. Who else? Jed Jerko here tonight. A home run in game 1, 2 more in game 2, 3 for 4, couple of home runs, and he drives in 3.
And we can't tell the guys that it's okay to score some runs without the home run. All the runs today have been via the home run, haven't they? The first game was so long ago, but yeah.
Final hope is Schimpf, who is homered tonight. In on his hands for strike 1.
First game was.
Oh, is throwing hard.
Now you feed off it, you know, and you feel the energy of the crowd. This crowd has been great. They've been supportive all season long, and they had to deal with some not typical Cardinal baseball, but they're showing you what they like tonight.
1 ball, 1 strike. Be careful with Schimpf. He's shown tremendous power. 1 ball, 1 strike. That's a strike.
Yeah,
1 and 2.
I'm looking back, and both games today, as you see this now, they're great pitch, good running action, but all the runs scored in both ends of the doubleheader have been via the home run for both teams.
Here's a 1-2 pitch.
Like this too, you see where Rosario is still back there catching here in the 9th inning. We see Mike Matheny several times would make a change, not having the confidence, and bring in Yachty, but not tonight.
The 1-2.
Changeup might have got away from him there a little bit. Usually with his good control, he can spot the ball where he wants to and keep it out of the danger zone. He might put down fastball away, but looked like Schimpf might have been looking down there, so see him look up his eyes, go with the fastball away.
The 2-2 by O. He got him! The Cardinals sweep the doubleheader. 3-2 the final tonight.
Danny, this is Cardinal baseball. This is what we expect to see from this pitching staff. The home runs from Jerko in both games have been outstanding. The Cardinals hit 3 there, but I think it's also what we're starting to see, and hopefully we'll see on a consistent basis at home. There you see him, challenges him. He's got pretty good control, so he could work that outside part of the plate, pitches to his weakness, and the Cardinals win another.
The postgame show is coming up. Big night for Jed Jerko and the Cardinals. They sweep the doubleheader. Look for a sweep in this series tomorrow night. We're on the air at 5:30 with the pregame show. Much more to come. Postgame show comes your way next.